Stephen Miller is easily the most reprehensible member of Donald Trump's administration, which is crazy to say because that's a difficult list to top. Not only is Stephen Miller disgusting inside, but outside as well. And it's the reason why when he is shut down, it just brings so much joy to my heart. And that is exactly what we saw tonight. A screaming Stephen Miller shut down by Gavin Newsom, of all people, not just calling out the BS argument he was trying to deliver for Donald Trump, but mocking his scandal with his wife. You're going to love just the disrepair Stephen Miller was in on live TV. But before we get into that, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we have to listen to just disgusting Stephen Miller scream and screech on air in fury, I want to start with one of the best clips I have seen in a long time out of a town hall tonight where a Republican congressman was ripped to shreds for the same lies that Stephen Miller was pushing. But I want to start with that clip right here.
My great-great-grandfather helped open this university. I am pissed, and I'm pissed at you because I have emailed you because it's easier for me than to try to talk on the phone without profanity. I would appreciate you taking your father's U.S. Constitution book, read it, study it, make your own lines underneath it, and get Trump out of office. The man is a dictator. He knows nothing about what he talks about. I listened to him for about a half hour today, and I got sick at all the lies he brought up. Now, I'm about ready to lose my farm. Do you know why? I'm sure you don't know why.
Lose your what, sir?
Farm.
Farm?
Yeah.
Why is that, sir?
Because Missouri does not have wills. They have trust. They have legal zigzags. And a trust most people don't know anything about. So I'm dealing with a state that's a crooked state, doesn't care about what farmers happen. The only reason why we have farmers today is because the federal government funds them. How much money of our tax money goes to farmers? Farmers work very hard, but they're funded by the federal government, not by selling groceries. That's what Foster Farms and all of those characters, that's where they get their money. The price of steaks, $20 a pound, because of big business. You want to straighten out the budget? Start taxing corporations and the wealthy, like we've been telling you. Do you think we're idiots? Do you think we don't pay taxes? Do you think that we don't have to make budgets? You talk about half-truths when I listen to you. You know nothing about taking care of children because you've always had a really good-paying job. You know nothing.
That is what patriotism looks like. And that is what I have seen up close and personal over the past couple of weeks. I have been traveling the country with some elected Democrats. I was just in Omaha, Nebraska. I was just in Phoenix, Arizona. I ran into some of y'all, and I am seeing people show up for town halls to fight back against Republicans, to engage in community. And that is what we need now more than ever when Donald Trump and Stephen Miller are actively trying to suppress dissent with intimidation, with boots on the ground, with their masked thugs kidnapping people. That's what they're trying to do, which is why we have to fight back and mock them whenever we can. And after Stephen Miller lost his mind on TV, that's exactly what Gavin Newsom was doing.
That was Washington, D.C. Now we're 2 weeks homicide free, the safest the city has ever been in its entire history. And the Democrats, instead of jumping up and down and saying, thank you, President Trump, thank you for saving our lives, thank you for saving our cities, thank you for scrubbing away all the graffiti, the trash, the homeless encampments, the druggies, instead of cleaning up the city, instead of thanking him for that, they're saying, President Trump, how dare you save our lives? How dare you save our children? How dare you save our city? The Democrat Party, Sean, that exists today, it disgusts me. I do not recognize that party, Sean.
Governor Newsom's press account has been seriously trolling Stephen Miller, comparing him here to Voldemort, writing here that he is a fascist cuck, referring to the scandal around his wife leaving him to go work for Elon Musk instead of the White House. And of course, we saw Governor Newsom today respond to Stephen Miller in the White House, writing that he's going to bring it to Donald Trump, even though he is trying to bring a lawsuit against his redistricting plan. Newsom also backed up his attack on Stephen Miller, which is just so hilarious in this clip right here.
Well, it's a response to Stephen Chung in the White House and his use of that word. I don't think they understand any other kind of language, so I have no apologies for standing tall and firm and pushing back against their cruelty. And if it requires more clear language, requires a recognition that things have radically changed with Trump presidency, then I will assert myself as I feel fit. And I'll do so with clarity and conviction. The difference between Donald Trump and the Trump administration and the state of California and the work that's being done by many elected officials here is we don't just exercise our formal authority, we also exercise our moral authority.
No one has been doing mockery and trolling better than Governor Newsom right now. All props to his team. Brandon, Izzy, y'all have been crushing it. But it just makes me so happy that Stephen Miller, of all people, faces humiliation after humiliation. And the crying, the whining, the woe is me didn't stop there. We saw more screaming from Stephen Miller. I'm sorry that we even have to go through it, but we got to watch to the end because I have something to say.
You can't have happiness without security first. Look, if your streets are more violent, as these Democrat cities are, more violent than Baghdad, more violent than communities in Ethiopia and places that many Americans would never even dream of visiting, some of the most dangerous places on planet Earth, more dangerous than Mexico City. Democrat cities are more dangerous than Mexico City, which is run by criminal cartels. How can you pursue happiness, Sean? And to the point about the federal government and the supremacy clause, the president has the utmost authority here because he oversees federal law enforcement, which is supreme to state and local law enforcement. And all of these organized street gangs that are terrorizing these cities, that are dealing these drugs, that are trafficking weapons, that are engaging in organized theft, armed robbery, carjacking, all of them are doing business with, at some level or another, the transnational narco-trafficking organizations. So these street crews are engaged in material support for terrorism, which is the core function of the federal government to defend and protect.
Well, Stephen Miller so perfectly embodies this right-wing ideology that frames itself as both the champion of the mighty, the right, the silent majority, but also as the victim. Stephen Miller wants you to simultaneously believe that he is being suppressed by the left and he has to fight back because they're trying to take his way of life and hold him down, but also wants you to believe that Donald Trump in this past election won the biggest sweeping cultural mandate we've ever seen and that everyone is in line with MAGA. But that's just not the case. Stephen Miller is gross, unappealing, personally and physically. That's why his wife is with Elon now. And that's the reason people don't like you. Stephen Miller in high school would complain about having to pick up trash because he's an entitled little brat. So of course people aren't going to like Stephen Miller. Donald Trump is a bully and he's pathetic and he's got cankles. No wonder people aren't going to like him. That is what the MAGA politics is based on. It is a petty, personal, self-consumed politics that we have to mock and make fun of because they aren't the majority. They are in the minority with their opinions. They try to impose them upon us, and they're just so bad that they don't even live them out themselves. Stephen Miller, you do not represent our country. We do not want more people who look like Stephen Miller. Let's be real. That'd be bad, especially with the suits. You know I always bring up the suits. Someone who does have suits who fit well is Gavin Newsom, though. More importantly, he's always calling out Stephen Miller and the criminal enterprise he's running out of the White House, and he did so right here.
As you mentioned, this is not like you're directly responding to Texas, which is under their current version of the maps trying to pick up 5 seats. But Ohio's moving forward, Indiana's moving forward, Missouri's moving forward, Ron DeSantis is making noise. Have you talked to your fellow blue state governors about whether they can do similar things, whether it's New York or Illinois or Maryland? Do you know where that stands?
Yeah, we've got to move. I mean, look, I really applaud. I admire what JB did in hosting the Texas delegation. Obviously, Kathy Hochul as well. I really appreciate what they're saying on this topic. And it's been wonderful. And of course, we're so proud of what Texas delegation did because they put a lot of wind in the sails of what we're doing. They raised so much awareness. And by the way, Dan, I don't think that. I know that. We've seen it numerically with polls we did just a few weeks ago. And people not even understanding what redistricting is or what it isn't, and now how overwhelming it is, universal almost, how people now understand what's at stake. But now it's time to put a stake in the ground. It's not just about rhetoric. It's about moving that rhetoric to a different reality. And it's about doing whatever we can, not just in those 2 states, but in other states all across this country. I know Maryland's talking potentially about something in January. I know that Kathy in New York has something not totally dissimilar to what we have in California. There's a version of that in Michigan. But look, at the end of the day, there is no do-over here, man. There's no do-over. If we fall short, if we see this guy roll up and go to all those other states, just like J.D. Vance rolled up into Indiana just a week ago, I mean, we could lose this thing. It's not an exaggeration. It is not. This guy's rewriting history. This guy is censoring historical facts. This guy is taking down independent thought, independent media, journalists, the rule of law, and lawyers. I mean, this is it, guys. And so I pray that people dial things up in other states, not just here in the state of California.
Again, Governor Newsom, that's the fight that we need. Not a fighter, a killer. That's what I keep saying. Man's not a fighter. Fighter's going to maybe send a strongly worded note. He's going to have a press conference. Maybe make an appearance on Maddow. Love her to death, but I need a little more than that. I need you to get something done. Gavin's getting something done. JB, my man, Pritzker, right now, a great press conference. Don't send troops to Chicago, Donald. I'd like to see a little redistricting. We've been talking about West Moore. Let's get rid of that last Republican district. He's talking about it. Governor Hochul, maybe moving in that direction. This is what we want to see. Go get shit done. And we will support you. And if you want to support this show, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you soon.